Have you ever heard a story so strange, so chilling, that it burrows into your mind and refuses to leave? Today, we're venturing into the icy heart of Russia's Ural Mountains to uncover one of the most enduring and terrifying mysteries of the 20th century, the Dyatlov Pass incident. What happened to 9 experienced hikers who met a bizarre and horrifying end? The official explanation only deepens the mystery, and the theories that have sprung up in its wake are the stuff of nightmares. In late January 1959, a group of 10 students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, all seasoned hikers and skiers, embarked on an ambitious expedition. Their goal was to reach Torton, a mountain deep in the northern Urals. Led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, the team was composed of 7 men and 2 women, all in their early 20s and in peak physical condition. One member, Yuri Yudin, was forced to turn back early due to illness. It was a decision that would save his life and leave him haunted for decades. He bid farewell to his friends, never imagining he would be the last person to see them alive. The group was expected to send a telegram from their final destination around February 12th. When days turned into weeks with no word, their families grew frantic. A search and rescue operation was launched on February 20th. 6 days later, the search party made a horrifying discovery. They found the group's tent, half buried in snow on the slopes of a mountain ominously named Kolit-Syakhl, which translates to Dead Mountain in the local Mansi language. What they found was baffling. The tent had been sliced open from the inside. It was clear the hikers had fled in a panic, abandoning all their warm clothing, supplies, and equipment in sub-zero temperatures. Leading away from the tent were sets of footprints in the snow. Investigators were stunned to see that some were from bare feet, others just socks, or a single boot. These weren't the actions of experienced mountaineers. This was sheer, unadulterated terror. The tracks led down the slope towards a dense forest line, nearly a mile away. The first 2 bodies were found at the edge of the woods, beneath a large cedar tree. They were Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko, dressed only in their underwear. The branches of the cedar tree above them were broken up to 5 meters high, suggesting someone had desperately tried to climb it, perhaps to get a better view or escape something on the ground. The remains of a small fire were nearby. It seemed they had fought desperately to stay warm before succumbing to the brutal cold. A short distance away, between the cedar tree and the camp, 3 more bodies were discovered: Igor Dyatlov, Zineda Kolmogorova, and Rustam Slobodin. Their positions suggested they had been trying to make their way back up the treacherous, snowy slope to the relative safety of the tent. They too were inadequately dressed for the conditions. The initial autopsies for these first 5 hikers concluded that they had all died of hypothermia. At this point, it seemed like a tragic but perhaps explainable accident. They could have been disoriented by an avalanche, fled the tent, and simply frozen to death. But that theory was about to be shattered. It took more than 2 months for the remaining 4 hikers to be found. In May, as the snow began to melt, their bodies were discovered in a ravine, buried under 4 meters of snow, about 75 meters deeper into the woods from the cedar tree. What was found here took the case from a tragedy to a truly disturbing enigma. Nicholas the Bobrignolas had suffered a severe skull fracture. Lyudmila Dubinina and Semyon Zolotaryov had catastrophic chest fractures, with injuries described by the medical examiner as being similar to the force of a car crash. How could they have sustained such devastating internal injuries with almost no external signs of trauma? And even more bizarrely, Dubinina was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her lip, while Zolotaryov was missing his eyeballs. The initial theory of an avalanche now seemed completely inadequate. An avalanche could cause blunt force trauma, but could it explain why they fled the tent in such a state, or the missing soft tissues? And why were there no clear signs of an avalanche having occurred? The investigation deepened the mystery even further. Some of the hikers' clothing was found to be radioactive. Not at dangerously high levels, but it was an undeniably strange detail. Another odd finding was that the bodies had a peculiar orange-brown tan, and some of their hair had turned gray. adding fuel to the speculative fire. Another group of hikers about 30 miles south reported seeing strange orange spheres or orbs in the sky to the north on the night of the incident. Was this a celestial phenomenon, or something more sinister? Overwhelmed and unable to find a rational explanation, Soviet authorities abruptly closed the case in May 1959. The official conclusion was that the hikers had died as a result of a compelling unknown force. The files were sent to a secret archive, and the area around Dyatlov Pass was closed to the public for 3 years. This secrecy, of course, only fanned the flames of speculation, creating a breeding ground for countless theories that have been debated for over 60 years. Let's explore some of the most prominent theories. The first, and most recently supported by Russian prosecutors in 2019, is the avalanche theory. This version suggests a small slab avalanche occurred, not enough to bury them, but enough to damage the tent and cause panic. Fearing a larger avalanche, they cut their way out and fled to the forest. In the dark and chaos, they got separated. The severe injuries, this theory posits, could have been caused by the crushing weight of the snow in the ravine where the last four were found. While plausible, it doesn't fully satisfy everyone. Why the radioactivity? Why the strange orange skin tone? And why did experienced hikers react with such unprofessional panic? Another popular theory involves a secret military weapons test gone wrong. The area was known to be used for such activities. This could explain the strange orbs in the sky, the radioactivity on the clothes, and the powerful, concussive force that caused the internal injuries without leaving much external evidence. Perhaps the hikers stumbled upon something they weren't supposed to see, and were either directly targeted or became collateral damage. The government's swift and secretive handling of the case certainly lends credence to this idea. Then we enter the realm of the truly strange. Could the hikers have been attacked? The local Mansi people were initially suspects, but there were no signs of a struggle with other humans, and the injuries were inconsistent with a typical assault. Besides, the Mansi considered the mountain sacred and were known to be peaceful. What about an animal attack? A bear or wolverine could inflict terrible injuries, but again, the tracks didn't support this, and the nature of the internal trauma is hard to explain. This brings us to more fringe theories. One of the most talked about is the infrasound phenomenon. This theory suggests that a specific wind condition around the mountain, known as a Kármán vortex street, could have generated extremely low-frequency sound waves. Infrasound is inaudible to humans but can cause intense feelings of panic, dread, and physical discomfort, potentially driving the hikers mad and causing them to flee their tent in a state of irrational terror. While scientifically fascinating, it's difficult to prove and doesn't account for the severe physical injuries. And of course, no great mystery is complete without a UFO or alien encounter theory. The orange orbs, the unexplained force, the bizarre injuries, and the radioactivity all become puzzle pieces for those who believe the group encountered something not of this world. While there's no concrete evidence, it remains a captivating and popular explanation for an event that defies easy categorization. In 2019, the Russian Prosecutor General's office reopened the case, determined to solve it once and for all. After re-examining evidence and running simulations, they concluded that a small avalanche combined with poor visibility and extreme weather was the most likely cause. They believe the hikers made a snow den for shelter, which later collapsed, causing the severe injuries to the last four found. But for many, including the families and independent researchers, this official explanation still leaves too many questions unanswered. Yuri Yudin, the sole survivor who turned back, spent his life seeking answers, passing away in 2013 without ever knowing the truth. The Dyatlov Pass incident is a perfect storm of unsettling facts and missing information. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes, the most terrifying monsters are the questions we can never answer. Each clue seems to lead down a new, darker rabbit hole. Was it nature's fury, a state secret, or something far, far stranger? The silent, snow-swept slopes of Dead Mountain keep their secrets well. What do you think happened on that fateful night? Let me know your theories down in the comments. This is one of those stories that sticks with you, and I'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoy diving into deep mysteries like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next investigation. Stay curious and stay safe out there.